Digital DJ Tips with me, Phil Morse, in the Digital DJ Tips studio. It's double awesome to be here today for our weekly live show because we've got $1,500 worth of DJ course to give away to lucky winners from a draw that we've been running all week. So if you're one of the over 1,000 people who's entered that draw to win a copy of our brand new DJ course, I'll tell you more about that in a minute, then tune in. Stay tuned in because at the end we're going to announce the 3 winners who have won a copy of the course worth $500 each. So they've all been drawn, it's all been done. You just got to hang around and see if it's you. But that's not the subject today. The subject of the day is 7, count them, reasons why all DJs should learn to spin on vinyl. If you can. Obviously not everyone gets the chance, but if you can, I'm going to give you 7 solid reasons why. Culled from our teaching and also from an article written by Joey over on the digitaldjtips.com main website this week, where he played an impromptu vinyl set and he wrote an awesome article which kind of triggered the idea for today's topic. So welcome. Before we go any further, if you are new to this and you're wondering what it's about, this is a live show. So if you're watching the recording on YouTube or on Facebook, you missed the live show. Make sure you subscribe, click the notify bell, make sure you follow us and click the show posts first on Facebook so that you get told when these go live. They're much more fun live. You get to watch me mess up and also you get to ask questions. If you don't even know who we are, we're Digital DJ Tips. I'm Phil Morse. I'm the founder of Digital DJ Tips. Since 2010, we've been teaching DJing. 23,000 students we have in 165 countries across the world. We're also the people behind this book that I'm holding in my hand here, Rock the Dance Floor, an Amazon bestseller on how to DJ, and the place where we reveal our 5-step formula for DJing success, which is what the course I'm about to tell you is all based on, by the way. But anyway, you might have seen the book, so that's us. Our job is to help you become better DJs and better DJ producers, and we do that by things like this, by our website, digitaldjtips.com, by our YouTube channel, and by our paid for courses, of which we have a couple of dozen now, which are ways that you can take DJing further, whether you're a beginner or you are a seasoned pro wanting to improve your skills. Right, that's enough about us. Let's start off by getting some early comments from you before we're going to move into the first of our 7 reasons why DJing with vinyl is a good thing if you want to improve in your DJing. So I'm going to start off with YouTube. So hello to everyone who's watching over on YouTube. Hi to DJ Dash, who says, this is why Tuesday is one of my favorite days now. Well, that's very nice of you to say. Hi to Rael, who says, Trinidad on the line. Good to have you here. So Mystic says, I'm here for the win. Awesome. I like to see a little bit of optimism there. What's up? Says Showtime Ent 404. DJ Wolf says, I've got the book. Thank you, DJ Wolf. And DJ Styles does even better. Says, I've got 2 copies of the book. So there we go. Evan says, wow. So Kyber says, hi Phil, I learned on vinyl, but I do prefer digital now, but I believe it is essential to learn on vinyl. Well, we're going to be talking about that. You're awesome, says Sylvian. So I'm not sure what I've done to deserve that. But anyway, Fran says hi from Italy. Hi to Sam in Toronto. Hi to DJ One Hands On. Says good morning all. DJ Eddie from the Bronx. Hi DJ Eddie. Hello to DJ Krish from India. To Darren says hi Phil and the gang. So lots of you over there on YouTube. And just a quick shout out to some early people on Facebook before we get stuck in to our subject today. And I'm just reloading the Facebook page now to get our live up. There we go. So hundreds of you already on Facebook. 24,000 people on Facebook last time. Unbelievable stuff. Anyway, hello to Greg, who says hi Phil from Las Vegas. Hi to Yusri. Hi to DJ Kenny. Says I can't wait to hear. Joshua says hi. Menno says I just bought 2 turntables this week. Well, there you go then. You read our mind. Hi to Ali. Hi to Frank. Hi to Anton, who says I've got the book on Audible. By the way, if you want to know where to get this, you can get this in good bookshops on Amazon, but you can also get it on Kindle if you prefer Kindles, and on Audible. You can get it as an audiobook, and it's on iTunes as well as an audiobook. Hi to Ray in Chicago. Hi to Ali, who says learning on vinyl was integral to understanding beat mixing for me. So Christopher says hi Phil from DJ Chris from Manila. Another vinyl DJ here. Steve G says, what's up everybody? We're going to have a busy one today, aren't we? There's a lot of vinyl DJs creeping out here. Hi to Doug in Hong Kong. Hi to Stephanie, says, I always wanted to use vinyl. You know, the interesting thing about vinyl is in the old days, we learned on rubbishy turntables. Then CDJs came out and we're like, oh, they're brilliant. And we all got CDJs. Then digital arrived and we're like, oh, that's amazing. So we kind of went that way. Nowadays, people start on like their phone, then they get a digital controller, then they maybe learn CDJs, and then they end up on vinyl. It's like people are going backwards nowadays. So hi to James in Basingstoke. Hi to Justin, who says, what's up from the Doughboy? Patrick says, hi Phil. Armando says, I'm watching from Davao City in the Philippines. A few of you in the Philippines today. Hi to Stephanie from the Zambia. To Adrian, says DJ Slice tuning in from Baltimore. Hi to Chris in Calgary. Turntables until death, says another Adrian. So there we go. And hi Phil, thank you for the tips, says Joe Nard. And hello to Wilfredo in Puerto Rico. If you are a vinyl DJ, if you know vinyl DJs who might want to watch this, if you just want to give us a big up to your friends and your followers, please hit the share button. That's what helps us to do these things, people. Why not do it right now? Okay, we're going to get started. And if you have just joined us, by the way, we are going to be announcing the winners of the competition at the end of today's live broadcast. To win copies of this, the complete DJ course, our brand new DJ course, which is our best ever flagship way of learning to DJ. It's for new DJs especially, and also for DJs returning to the game. There's a focus on people returning to DJing after a break. Maybe you're not used to using digital. This course is for you. It actually is already out there. It's already helping hundreds and hundreds of DJs to improve, but only privately, only to our list. It's now going to go public as of tomorrow. And to celebrate this going public tomorrow, we will be giving away 3 copies worth $1,500 at the end of today's live broadcast. And just one final thing before we get started. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook as a recording, this is a live show. You're watching a recording of a live show. This is something that normally lasts 30 or 40 minutes. So if you're one of those keyboard warriors who ends up going, no, get to the point. Look, we've got loads of 5-minute videos on there if you want us to get to the point. This is a live show. It's all about interaction with our awesome community and stuff like that. So we unravel over time. There's no rush here. Just to make that point. Right, shall we get started? This is our 7 reasons why learning to DJ on turntables, if you can, and play some gigs on turntables, is a really good idea. So reason number 1, it forces you to pack all killer, no filler. It forces you to pack all killer, no filler. So what do I mean by this? Well, in the days of vinyl, if it was a normal gig, you'd take 1 box. This is my actual box from the last time I played vinyl, about 2001. If it was a really important gig, you'd take 2 boxes. So that meant you could take between 60, 70 and 130, 140 tunes. That was it. Now, imagine what that made you do before your gig. You thought really, really hard about each and every tune in that box. You didn't take stuff thinking maybe, maybe not. If you were thinking maybe, maybe not, you gave it a good listen. You turned it up loud, you closed your eyes, you imagined what it might sound like in a club, and you made your decision. So every single tune was really, really, really thought about. So by the time you got behind the decks, you knew you had a box of killer or 2 boxes of killer for a very special gig. Compare that to the way we don't prepare sometimes for digital gigs. We just turn up, right? Bring your laptop, turn up. Why not? You've got all your tunes in there. But you lose that thought about the gig. You lose that planning. You lose that preparation. And guess what happens? Your sets suffer and you end up staring at the screen thinking, what do I play next? What do I play next? What do I play next? Instead of just looking through a relatively small number of tunes and thinking, oh yeah, that one or that one. It happens like this. When you've done that preparation with vinyl, you lose that with digital. It's why learning to play with vinyl is such an important thing. But if you can't, then there's a simple way around this, and we teach it in all our courses. Just pack a box of records. It's no surprise that in Serato, the playlists are called crates, right? They're called crates because it thinks back to record crates. Pack a playlist. Twice the number of tunes that you might possibly play in your set is about right. Just going through that motion will help you to get into that mindset of thinking very hard. All killer, no filler. So that's reason number 1 why learning to play vinyl and maybe playing a few vinyl gigs is a great way of improving your DJing, because it will force you to get into the habit of thinking really hard about each and every tune you play. Before we go any further, a few of your comments. I don't agree that everyone should plan out a set before a gig, regardless of vinyl or computer, says Maxwell. No, I don't agree that either, Maxwell. You should never plan a set. You should take about twice the number of tunes you think you're going to play, and then within those tunes, you've basically taken a whole redundant set. You've taken one set you're going to play and a whole set at least that you're not going to play. That is plenty of tunes to pick from in a night's DJing. And that is a sweet spot between having 30,000 tunes and going like this and meticulously planning every mix and every track, which is equally bad as having 30,000 tunes. This is the sweet spot, taking about twice the number of tunes you need for your set. That's the sweet spot for most people, and it works best for most of our students, Maxwell. So yes, I agree completely with you. You should never plan your set, but you can certainly plan the tracks you're going to take with you in order to give you enough wiggle room to play lots of different angles depending on who's there in front of you. Yes, it's about the mindset, says Ningji. And I love this, great info, Phil, and sorry I forgot your name wrong there. Exactly, Phil, says Antonio. Also, learn to appreciate, oh wow, we didn't get this one, thank you for this, Ali. Learning to appreciate white labels, label artwork and coloured vinyl is part of DJ culture. Yes, you know, there's something about the covers and the artwork and you learn. A lot of people prefer to think by pictures anyway. My little boy, when he's DJing on Spotify, he just looks for the covers. He doesn't know the artist, he just knows the colour and the artwork, right? So a lot of people are like that. It's why in DJ software you can add artwork to your files because it just makes it more real for some people. So a few comments from YouTube before we go any further. I want to be nice and democratic here. Wow, YouTube's very busy today. Wow. I've made playlists for nights and I just end up digging into my library anyway because unexpected genres ended up working, says David. Well, that's all right, David, but you imagine the days of vinyl, you wouldn't have had that. You wouldn't have had that luxury. You'd have had to have done that thinking beforehand, thinking, oh, I wonder what genres they might want. And so you'd have a little section of tracks in all the little genres you think just maybe. So again, it kind of goes back to, probably didn't have to plan that well before those gigs, Dave, because you knew you had everything with you. But even so, if you plan playlists and you end up going back to your main library, that's all right. At least you've got a playlist there as a starting point. I think it's laughable how some DJs boast about having 100,000 songs when in reality you need maybe 60 to 100 killer tracks, depending on how long the party is. Quality is not quantity, says DJ Dash. You know, Layback Luke, who we're working with at the moment, he's got 6,500 tunes. And that's vinyl from the days, from back in the day. He's ripped, I think he said he's ripped about 2,000 of those. And since ripping 2,000 of those old vinyl tunes, he's added 1,500 to his collection. His current playlist, if you like, is 3,500 tunes. He's got 6,500 vinyls. He only bothered ripping 2,000 of them, and now he's added another 1,500. If Laidback Luke can make do with a collection of 3,500 tunes, you don't need any more than that. Think on. Let's move on then. I've made... Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure there's no good comments here that I have missed. No, I think we're good there. Lots and lots of people saying nice things, but nothing related to that point. I want to stick to the points now that we've started. So we've covered number one. It forces you to pack very, very carefully if you play a vinyl set, and that teaches you discipline. It teaches you preparing a set, preparing a playlist for your set before you turn up. So reason number two, it forces you to learn your tunes. So on a piece of vinyl, just whip out an old piece of vinyl here. Glam, Hell's Party. On a piece of vinyl, you have I'm trying to get the light to reflect on that. You have and I can't, of course. There we go. You can't really see that. But anyway, on the grooves here, you've got quiet bits and loud bits. It's the best way I can say. Smooth bits and bumpy bits. It shows you where the breakdowns are, shows you where the drops are, shows you where any fades are, basically shows you where quieter and louder parts of the track are. So you can look at the track and say, okay, this has got, I can see an intro in this track, then the beat kicks in, then it gets louder, then about 4/5 of the way through there's a breakdown. God, this is old music. You never have a breakdown 4/5 of the way through in new tunes. It happens like straight away, doesn't it? And then there's a drop and then it fades out. That's about it. That's all you can tell looking at the surface of a piece of vinyl. So while it would kind of remind you while the vinyl was playing, you could see if there was a drop coming or whatever, you really had to know your music really well so that you didn't accidentally mix vocals over vocals or bass lines over bass lines or anything like that. You had to learn each and every track that you took with you basically. So that was a really good thing. Anything that forces you to learn your music is a good thing. But with vinyl, it was like existential. If you didn't, you would mess up and you would sound and look really stupid. So nowadays with digital, of course, you don't really have to do that quite as much because you can put cue points on your tracks, outro point, intro point, drop, breakdown. And of course, the waveforms are so much more detailed, even down to seeing bass drums in a different color to hi-hats and mid-ranges and so on. That's all good, by the way. I'm not saying it's not good. It's awesome. It's fantastic on digital. But we have lost something in not being forced to learn our tracks inside out. Just by playing a vinyl gig or two, you'll be forced to learn every single song that you're going to potentially play in that gig. And by being forced to learn your songs, it will teach you the value of knowing your music really, really well. So point number 2, it forces you to learn your tunes. So before going back to comments, I want to carry on through these. Point number 3, and by the way, if you've just joined us, we're talking about 7 reasons why every digital DJ, in fact every DJ, should learn to play on vinyl and maybe play a set or two at some point in your career on vinyl. We've already covered number 1, which is it forces you to go all killer, no filler. Basically pack sets so that you only take what you need. And point number 2, it forces you to really know your tunes, really get to know them inside out. Because your mixing will suffer badly otherwise. So point number 3, if you can beat mix on vinyl, you can beat mix on anything. It's the old New York thing, right? If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. If you can beat mix on vinyl, you can beat mix on anything. We've got an absolutely awesome DJ controller here. This is the Roland DJ 808, which we've been making some training on today. It's fantastic, but it has the big fat sync buttons there and there. And that means that with most stuff, 2 taps and everything's going to be synced up nicely, which again, we think's awesome. You can do so much more. You can have the sequencer at the top of this going. You can have 4 decks going. You can have your samples dropped in time. Your effects can all be in time. You know, sync's a good thing. But if you're used to using it and you don't know what to do if it's turned off, 2 things happen. 1, if you've got tracks that aren't syncing up for some reason, you're stuck. And 2, if anyone ever says to you, would you mind jumping in, our DJ's not turned up, if they've got old CDJs or if they've got vinyl or whatever, and you know how to beat mix on vinyl, on records, you can beat mix on anything, including that gear. It's a bit like learning to drive on a manual shift car, then you can drive an automatic. But if you learn on an automatic, you can't drive a manual unless someone teaches you that extra step, right? Learning to play on vinyl forces you to learn to manually beat mix. It forces you to learn to beat mix without assistance. And that is a very good thing. You know, as DJs, we ought to want to learn everything. We ought to want to learn to DJ on all gear. We ought to want to learn all the skills. We should be curious about all the skills. And look, there's no escaping it. With vinyl, you're going to have to learn to beat mix manually. You're going to have to learn to time manually. It is trainer wheels well and truly off. So that's another good reason to learn and hopefully one day play 1 or 2 DJ sets on vinyl. So how much should you spend getting 2 turntables? And the middle bit, I don't know the name for it, it's a mixer, Toxic, it's called a mixer. The one we really, really recommend nowadays, which is brand new because it's only just come out, is the Numark Scratch mixer. It's called the Numark Scratch. It's like $500. It works with Serato, so you can use it digitally with plain digital files. And the Numark turntables, I think they're called, I keep getting their name wrong, I get it confused with the Pioneers. But anyway, they're the Numark 1000, that's the model number. There's a couple of letters before it. I'm sure one of you will help me out. They're really, really good, those Numark turntables. And you can get 2 of those and the mixer, and it comes in at like under the price of a single Technics turntable, brand new, or not far off it anyway. They're just insanely good value for money. They're really well made, they've got great motors, everything about that setup I've just described is really good. So if you're on a budget, that Numark setup, the new mixer, it's called a Scratch mixer, and the 2 1000 turntables, I'm sure it's not going to be very long before someone tells me the name of them on one of our channels here, would be the setup I would recommend right now for a beginner wanting to get into this. Proper Bo says 1210s. He's talking about Technics 1210s. There is no other. Well, yeah, but the new Technics 1210s suck. So you'd have to go for secondhand there. But I agree, they're very, very nice. Proper Bo. It's called the NTX 1000, the turntable I just talked about, the Numark NTX 1000. So thank you for that, Charles. All right then, Brittany's Record Shop says vinyl forever. So there you go. Right. And over on Facebook, before we go any further, I just want to catch up with a few of you guys and girls over there and read out a few comments. So Bjorn says, very well said, Phil. That was the way before digital, says Michelle. Hello to Neil, always good to have you here, Neil. DJ Sishi says, sometimes you find a whole different crowd than you were expecting. Yes, you do. That's why you have to consider every possible crowd when you're packing a vinyl set, because guess what? You haven't got the luxury of all your music with you. Just a few of you saying hello there as well. Cool, right. We've got literally hundreds and hundreds of people here today. I'm looking at the numbers shooting up at the moment. 24,000 last time. Couldn't believe it. We're normally like 5, 6, 7,000 is wonderful. 24,000. Anyway, let's move on. We are talking about 7 reasons why, if you can, it's a great idea to learn to DJ on vinyl and play a couple of gigs at least on vinyl as part of your DJ journey and your DJ learning. So number 4, it teaches you what I call jog wheel dexterity. I'll tell you a story now. When I was a kid, I had a £30, which is about $40 turntable. It was one of those ones, you remember those old stereo systems where you had an optional turntable that could go on the top, and it had a really cheap arm and it had a plastic lid, and I used to hold the vinyl and then have my hand on the pause button of the tape deck, and I would get the timing right so I could get the pause off and then release the track so I could make mixtapes without gaps. I didn't even know that DJing was a thing with mixing and stuff at the time, but that's how I used to make mixtapes. And my dad used to say to me, stop doing that on that turntable, you will break it. You will break it. And I think that's the problem sometimes. People who use DJ gear like this stuff here, they kind of think, I don't know how much permission I've got to abuse these things. I don't know how much permission I've got to do stuff on this, right? I know that I'm meant to press the buttons. I can press the sync button. I can press play. I can go like that. I can press sync. I can press play. I can go like that. But look, the whole DJing thing, the whole scratching and mixing and holding and cueing and throwing in, that's something that doesn't come naturally to DJs who learn on controllers in our experience as a DJ school. It's almost like they're asking for permission to do it. It's almost like they've got an imaginary dad in the background saying, don't do that, you might break it. As my dad said to me, by the way, my decision at the time was, if I break it, it's my turntable, get out of here. Obviously, I didn't say that to you, Dad, in those words, did I? Because I was a polite little boy. But anyway, you know, if you're DJing on vinyl, if you're DJing on record decks, you've got no choice. You have to, because nothing's going to happen otherwise. It's all about that platter. It's all about putting the record on, getting the needle on it, holding it, feeling the tension underneath your hands, letting it go, getting good at letting it go, not being so rough that the needle jumps, being rough enough that it doesn't slur in, that, you know, you give it enough. You're in control of it, like riding a horse or something. I don't know where that one came from, but that's the kind of thing I mean here. So jog wheel dexterity, platter dexterity, deck dexterity is all about learning and having the tactile feel, having that kind of like programming in you that says, this is all right. This stuff's made to touch. It's made to do stuff with. You know, you're meant to get stuck in and do things. It's not meant to be just, you know, the audience doesn't know that you're doing anything. You know, when you're DJing, it's rough and ready. Things happen. The audience can feel you're doing stuff. You throw a track in, it's a bit late, so you speed it up a bit on the spindle. You throw a track in, it's a bit slow, so you nudge it a bit on the edge. You know, that's what you're going to want to do, whether you're DJing on vinyl, CDJs, or the most modern DJ controllers. And vinyl will teach you to do that. DJing with records and turntables will teach you to do that. It will get you into that mindset that that's okay. So point number 4, it teaches what I call jog wheel dexterity. So I'm going to jump over to, if you've just joined us, we're talking about 7, I can't hold up 2 hands at the moment. I'm talking about 7 reasons why DJing on turntables is a good thing. It depends on what sounds better. Interesting. Anyone can grab a controller and go. Most vinyl DJs display that they've taken the time to collect, curate and care for the music in their arsenal. Well, yes, but you know, you can do all those things with digital as well. We're certainly not making value judgments here. I really want to go to a music university in England. I'm hoping to pursue DJing. Do you know any good universities? No one teaches DJing like that. If they do, you know, DJing is learned on the job. You need coaching. You need people like us to help you, to encourage you, and to show you the basic skills. And then you've got to get out there and do it yourself. You know, if you wait 3 years at a university before playing your first gig, you've wasted 3 years. We don't have universities teaching DJing and giving you certificates here, Toxic. So anyway, right, okay. More stuff. Vinyl drop real feel. Is about music. You're aware to manage music. Maybe strange, but it is. I think you're just kind of reinforcing what I was saying there, Bob, that it's a feel thing. Motorized platters will do it as well. That's a very good point. DJ controllers like the Numark NS7 series and also the Rain 12 turntables and also the Denon SC5000M and the Tractor Control S4. They've all got motorized platters, so you get that feel of tension and torque. And yes, it's a very good point. Thank you for making that one. Okay, I'm going to move on. If you're enjoying this, please hit that share button. It's really important to us. We want to beat the 26,000 people from last week. So hitting that share button will help us. All right then, we've covered. It forces you to go all killer, no filler. It forces you to pack really carefully. Forces you to learn your tunes. If you can beat mix on vinyl, you can beat mix on anything. And it teaches you to use the jog wheel dexterity. Number 5. I love this one because it's so true. It forces you into the zone. It forces you into the zone. So if you've ever followed any meditation practice or you've ever read any books about kind of getting into that zone where you lose track of time and you find you've been doing something for hours, you know, that zone of artistic creativity that's so important to a lot of people, and it's where we're happiest as people. DJing with vinyl gives you that. Why? Because you have to concentrate or it all goes wrong. With digital, you know, God bless digital, it's awesome, but you can line a track up, press play, hit the sync button, they're both locked together. You can check your Facebook, you can take a photo of the crowd and stick it on Instagram. You can have a chat with someone, you can do a million other things. You can spend 5 minutes looking through your 30,000 tunes because you haven't prepared your set properly. But what you're not doing is making sure it doesn't all go horribly wrong. With vinyl, there is no escape from the fact that if you're not continually tending it like you're, you know, like spinning plates, they're going to fall off. So you have to be in the zone at all times. Your BPMs will always slip. Your records will always run out and there'll be nothing else on the other turntable. Not like on digital where you can load something, hit sync and you're off quickly. You've got to get the next track lined up. You've got to get it ready for the mix. You've got to know your tracks well enough to know where to drop it in. There's no second chances. You can't just hit the loop button and then sit there spending 5 minutes trying to get it mixed in. When it ends, it ends. It's dangerous. And for all these reasons, you're far more likely to fall into that zone where you're just at one with the decks or at one with the vinyl and riding the wave, if you like, you know, like a rock climber might feel, or someone sailing a boat, or someone surfing. All these things are just like that. And DJing with vinyl is like that as well. It's why people are so passionate about it. It gets you into the zone, and that's a good place to be, where time stands still, where you lose yourself, where you come out the other side, completely addicted to it and wanting to do it again. Yes, you can get that on gear like this. Of course you can get that on gear like this. There's so many features, there's so many functions. If you're playing in front of a crowd, then yes, you know, again, there's going to be enough stress there anyway for you. And a lot of the time that happens. But I'll tell you what, there's no escaping it with vinyl. It happens every single time you turn those decks on because there's more danger with vinyl. It's more raw. It takes more skill. And by it takes more skill, I don't mean that, you know, the vinyl DJs are necessarily more skilled. I just mean that beginning level where you get to the point where you can actually do it is harder to attain. And once you get to that point in a set, you've got to maintain a certain amount of concentration to stay there. And that goes for DJs who've been doing it for a long time as well. So there's another reason it gets you into the zone. Right, we're going to move on. Number 6. And I'm just trying to read my own writing here. I copied them all down earlier from our meeting. I've now remembered what number 6 was, and it's a great one. It connects you to where DJing came from. You know, a lot of people buying DJ gear for the first time, especially if you buy a controller that plugs into your iPad and that works by Bluetooth and you've got your little speaker and stuff. It's awesome, it's amazing. But you kind of feel like, well, I haven't got a culture I'm tying into here. I'm just starting and I'm not really sure what I'm meant to be doing or how people have done it before. If you learn to DJ on vinyl, it connects you back in the past to the way people have always done it. And that's a very enriching feeling. Enriching, is that a word? But anyway, it's a great feeling. And it's the same as watching, you know, old hip hop documentaries or watching the the history of disco, or watching the Carl Cox and, was it Martin Garrix? Yeah, it was Carl Cox and Martin Garrix film, What We Started. A great film, by the way, it's on Netflix. Anything like this, learning about DJ culture, reading about it. Not only this book, there's some awesome books out there as well that we recommend on the site and stuff that will get you more enriched, more involved in DJ culture. Anything you can do to get involved in DJ culture and feel part of it is good. But learning to DJ on vinyl connects you straight away back to how it was done up to about 10, 15 years ago. And that's a good thing, because you're going to feel like you are part of the wider culture. And I just think it's a lovely thing. It's a lovely thing you don't realize when you are thinking, I'm going to have a go at this stuff. You suddenly get a real sense for what it was like for those early disco DJs and those early house DJs and those DJs at the beginning of trance and all the other big genres that have been defined by 2 turntables and a mixer. So it's an awesome thing to do for no other reason than just feeling part of the bigger, wider culture and getting a sense for where you came from. So before we move on to number 7, I just want to get some comments, because lots and lots of them are flying in. I thought it was a good idea to start on vinyl back in 2006 when I started, says Ash1Mil. This is the test, guys and girls, says PK3776. If you have a controller and can use it, good. However, if you use said controller and have not used vinyl and Technics, then you must. Only then will you realize. Well, look, I kind of agree with you, although there are some awesome DJs using just controllers. In fact, there are awesome DJs using just Ableton. So yes, you know, I agree with you there. I think everyone should do it. I mean, that's what this is about. You know, a lot of you have been asking about this course, you know, does it teach me to do this stuff? And it's worth pointing out that the way we teach DJing at Digital DJ Tips is we start off by teaching you the history of the gear. And then we teach you where DJs have got music from up until today. And then crucially, absolutely crucially, we teach you manual beat mixing. Manual beat mixing, whether you're doing it on something like this, or whether you're doing it on CDJs, or whether you're doing it on turntables, we don't care, because we can teach you to manually beat mix on any DJ gear that's got any kind of jog wheel. So reason we do that, it is vitally important you learn the skills of turntable DJing even if you're not using turntables, which is why every DJ course we've ever done starts off by teaching you counting, timing, manual beat mixing, and only when we've taught you what we call the universal basics do we move on to teaching you the stuff that digital has brought to the table as well. It's a crucial distinction. Anyone who teaches you DJing without doing that is not doing it right. So even if you don't learn on real vinyl and real turntables and do a set on this kind of stuff ever, we can still teach you the important stuff so you get that feeling of doing it, and that so you're ready next time you get a chance. It'll be much shorter learning journey for you to be able to do it on this stuff. Anyway, thank you for that comment. So as new DJs, says DJ Mr. Anderson on YouTube, we should at least understand the history and old technology. At the same time, old DJs should embrace the new technology. At the end of the day, these gears are just tools, and I agree 100% with you, Mr. Anderson. That is so well said. Rapid Fire Music says, salutes to all the musicians still using the wheels of steel. No hate to any of the modern tools, but nothing compares to the old school. No, nothing compares to it. It's different, that's for sure. Okay then, so I want to just read out one more comment. David says, sometimes I see DJs in the zone, actually performing very well technically, but they're completely missing the vibe of the crowd, partially also blaming people's low appreciation of DJs. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, it's about you and the crowd. You know, we always say there's 3 areas of music. What the person who booked you wants, imagine a Venn diagram. What the person who booked you wants to hear, what the DJ loves, and what the crowd loves. And imagine these 3 circles overlapping. That sweet spot in the middle is what you're aiming at as a DJ. Because if you're not keeping the promoter happy, you ain't gonna get booked again. If you're not keeping the dance floor happy, no one will go home and say you were cool, and then therefore your what's the word I'm looking for? Your reputation won't grow. But if you're not keeping yourself happy, you're just a jukebox playing stuff you hate. It's where those 3 things interlock that the magic happens. Anyway, I'm going off on another one. But yeah, I agree with you, David. You know, to me, being in the zone is about also being on the same trip as your audience. Okay. And on Facebook, just a few more comments from there. By the way, if you've just tuned in, we're talking about the 7 reasons why, if you get a chance, you should learn to DJ on vinyl. So I used Sync for my very first mix, says Matthew, but since then I've never touched it. Well, there we go. picture discs have a lot of the novelty when just ripped to MP3, says Ali. I think you're saying that, you know, a vinyl, picture vinyl is kind of great, but if you rip it to MP3, you lose that. For sampling vinyl records for music production, you need a vinyl turntable, just one of many points, says Ali again. It's a very good point, Ali. And by the way, everyone who's commented, I'm not going to read any of those out now because there's some really decent comments there which are quite long and I want to spend some time properly getting back to you. But anyone who's commented, we will get back to you, my team and I, underneath the comments. Even if you're watching this on the replay, we'll get back to you then. Right, number 7. We've reached the end of our 7 reasons why, if you get a chance, you should DJ on vinyl. You should play some vinyl sets if you can, because it's cool. DJing on vinyl is cool. Full stop. It's just plain cool. And so why not? You know, why not just do it because it's damn cool? Now, I'm not saying, you know, vinyl only nights are really cool, or you've got to only play Berlin techno from 1984 to 1986. It's not that kind of cool. I don't mean that. I don't mean hipster cool. It's just damned cool. You know, getting a new piece of vinyl, rubbing it on your leg, which, by the way, breaks the plastic that they've wrapped it in, ripping that plastic off, pulling it out, opening it. It makes the hairs on my arms stand on end just talking about it. Getting it out, the smell of the vinyl when you first get one out, putting it on there, the static electricity that's holding this to your clothes, and then you put your needle on for the first time. It's just wonderful. And everyone should try it for those reasons. It's just wonderful. It's a lovely thing to do. Now, every now and then we dig the decks out here at Digital DJ Tips. We have a vinyl set. We don't leave them out. We don't keep doing it. We go back to what's modern because what's modern is great. But just every now and then, scratching an itch, it's awesome. DJing on vinyl is cool. So for no other reason, why not have a go if you get a chance to have a go playing on vinyl? Right, that is it. There are our 7 reasons. I'm sure someone industrious will put the timestamp beneath us, and if you do, we'll pin it to the top so people can jump to those reasons watching on the replay. But I hope you've enjoyed them. Now, we have got a little bit of housekeeping left to do, haven't we? Because we have to announce the winners. Just to remind you, the complete DJ course is our DJ course. It's brand new, it's flagship. It teaches new DJs and people returning to DJing after a break how to catch up with the way it's done today, how to DJ properly, which involves, by the way, all the things I've just been talking about, learning to manually beat mix so that you will be able to do it a lot better on vinyl when you get a chance. So this is teaching you to learn DJing properly from the ground up. So you have everything you need for really enjoying this hobby and getting the most out of it. And it's brand new. It's already got hundreds of people in it because we've launched it privately to our audience, but it's going to go public for its proper big launch. And that actually happens tomorrow. So to celebrate that, we have 3 copies of the complete DJ course to give away. Now, as of tomorrow, we've got a very special launch week offer, which is only for 1 week. So do keep an eye on the website and your email if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, by the way, you can become one really easily by going to digitaldjtips.com/join, digitaldjtips.com/join. So if you're a subscriber, we'll let you know all about that and you get a special launch offer on this course. But meanwhile, the really exciting thing is we've got 3 copies of this to give away to 3 lucky winners. So who are they? Shall we find out? They've been drawn completely randomly by Lauren. Lauren is a very ethical person. She will not have done anything other than literally closing her eyes and using a pin, but digitally, of course. And this, to remind you, is a competition that we've been running for a week on our socials. So you might even have forgotten you entered. Well, you're in for a surprise if you're one of our 3 winners. So 3 people to announce. Are you ready? Virtual drum roll. So person number 1 who has won a copy of the complete DJ course is Michelle Elizabeth, who says, I'd be interested. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Well, Michelle, your interest has paid off because you have won a copy of the complete DJ course. So well done, Michelle. It will be winging its way to you today, and we'll be in touch about that. So well done, Michelle, and you've done awesome. So that's number 1. We've got 2 more to give away. Who's won the other 2? Shall we pull up winner number 2? Winner number 2 is Rajul Singh, who says, I want to be the next DJ Snake. Well, you've got a much better chance as of now than you did have 5 seconds ago, Rajul, because you have won a copy of the complete DJ course worth nearly $500. And it will be in your inbox. Your login will be in your inbox very soon, and you'll be able to jump in and be one of the first people for this public launch of the course. So well done. So are you one of the winners? We've already announced Michelle and Rajul. We've got one more winner of this $1,500 giveaway. So who is it? Really big virtual drum roll. Winner number 3 of this course this time around in this prize draw is Dave Hooglander. And Dave says, I never win anything, but it's worth a try. Well, Dave, there you go, mate. You have won yourself a copy of the complete DJ course. So to all our winners, to Rajul, to Michelle, and to Dave, well done. Your course is winging its way to you. And to everyone else, you can get on board this as of tomorrow with a very special launch offer just for 1 week only. Save yourself some cash. Jump on it while it's hot. That's it. We're done for today. Thank you very, very much to everyone who's tuned in. We'll be back same time next week. I just want to have a few final shout outs to you if you're watching on Facebook and on YouTube, but the place to watch this is here. Place to watch this is on our global DJ network, this one here, because it's for DJs by DJs. It's a private group, and you can get in the global DJ network, join the thousands of people who are there away from the prying eyes of the public in our most supportive DJ networking group in the world, and it's totally free. To join this, head to our Facebook page, facebook.com/digitaldjtips, hit the message button and type the word join, and then my team will vet you, make sure you're decent, of course you are, and we will manually sign you up to the Global DJ Network, the best place for DJs to network anywhere. So we're broadcasting live there. After this show, I go in there myself personally and chat to everyone who is watching in there. So for that kind of attention, you need to be in the GDJN, and that's it, and that's how to get in it. All right then, final comments from YouTube and from Facebook. I want to win, says Brian. Oh, well, maybe next time, Brian. Ortis says, see you all later, DJs. Eric says, have a great day, everyone. Thanks, Phil, says Matthew. Mixing with vinyl is a lot different than mixing off a laptop. All new school DJs should take some time practicing mixing with vinyl, says Johnny. Wow, you're finally on something. Oh, I'm not sure what that says, Bjorn, but anyway, thank you for commenting. Dennis says, congratulations. Stephanie says, congratulations, everyone. Juanmi says, congratulations. DJ Vista is just congratulating all the winners. What is a DJ if you can't scratch, says Brian. Even just a little baby scratch, right? It's always worth being able to do that stuff. All right then, loads and loads and loads of comments. Just you being very nice and saying well done to everyone, which is very nice of you. You're a nice bunch, aren't you? And over on YouTube, just to end us off, John says, have a great day, Mr. Phil, and to you too. Have a great day, says Jason. This is one of the most inspirational videos I've ever seen, says Sabri. For someone so experienced, putting himself in a beginner's shoes is incredible. It's my job, I'm a teacher. I like nothing. There's one thing I like more than DJing, and that is teaching DJing. Seriously, it's what I'm on this planet for. So thank you very much. It means a lot to me when I hear comments like that. I'm personally not a fan of vinyl, says David, and all the different clubs and venues I've been on the decks, none have been vinyl. No, I'm not saying we go back to vinyl at all. I'm saying there's things you can learn by practicing and playing the odd set on it, David. I want to be very clear about that. And of course, you can just use DVS, which is what Proper Bow says, gives you the best of both worlds then. DVS being integrating your software with timecode vinyl, so you can play MP3s, but you're using the vinyl skills. Cool stream, says CPH. Yeah, it is a cool stream. We like to think so. Thank you very much. I'd love to do that course now, says Toxic. Well, it's available as of tomorrow. Can vinyl ever be practical for people like myself as an event DJ? As a fairly new DJ who uses a Pioneer controller, I have trouble justifying the price. No, I'm not saying everyone go out and buy decks, not at all. Just if you get a chance, if you've got a friend who's going on holiday and they've got decks, borrow them, get a key to their house, spend 6 weeks over the summer learning it. That's what I'm talking about here, that kind of thing. All right then, I'm going to close that now because I could talk to you all for hours, and I'm sure you've got homes to go to, as we used to say at the end of our club nights. It's been great being here again today. I'll be here next week as well. Well done to all our winners. Remember, this launches tomorrow, the complete DJ course, with a special launch offer. Keep an eye on the site, and if you want to be told by email the second this goes live, be one of the very first people to find out about it. digitaldjtips.com/join. Free to join, and we will send you details of that and all our other stuff as and when it happens. Till then, get good, get out there, and make the moments. See you again very soon.